Hello Stampers, this is Allison Salvin, and today I wanted to show you this new product from Stampin' Up! Called Simply Pressed Clay, and these are the clay molds. So you can see there's two of them that come in the set. One makes flowers and one makes buttons. So today I'm just going to go over how to make one of these flowers. Here's the clay. It comes in this foil pouch, and you want to make sure that you keep this sealed or your clay will start to dry out. So just take a little bit of the clay out of the package. You don't need very much to make a flower, so I'm just going to use a little bit just to show you how to do this, and just seal that back up. You can use this and make white flowers. I'm just going to bring them in. This is what it would look like right out of the pack, and then here's a button. Or you can color your clay before you mold it. So here's one that I've done in saffron, so saffron, and this one here is the strawberry slush, I believe. So you can see how cute they are, and they're soft. You can bend them, but they won't break. So this is great because you can make flowers in any color you want. These are some of the littler ones, and this is the medium one, just so you get an idea of what they look like. So let me show you how to color the clay. If you were just using white, you just go ahead and use it right out of the pack. I find the easiest way to do this is in a little plastic bag, and we're going to use a re-inker and we're going to color this clay. If you just tried to do it with your hands, you will get ink everywhere, so you don't want to do that. So I'm just going to kind of make a little well here, just like I was making pasta or something. And I'm going to just put a little bit of, this is Wisteria Wonder. And then I'm just going to fold this over, and before I stick it in my bag, I'm going to take my little embossing buddy. I'm just going to pile it around, or pound it into the bag a bit, just to make so it won't stick as much. And then I'm going to just throw this in the bag, like so, and then I'm going to just start to knead it, work the color in, just like this. You can use rubber gloves instead if you want. I just find this is a little bit easier. Plus, if I don't use all of this color, I can just leave it in the bag and it won't dry out. Okay. Once you've got it worked into a certain point, and you can see that it's kind of in the clay as opposed to just sitting on top, I just turn it inside out like so and just grab the clay. And I've got a little bit I dropped here. I'm just going to pick that up and just put it in the bag until I can get it a little bit mushed in there. Once it's already worked in quite a bit like that, you can see it's still lots of white space showing. I just pull it out at that point and just finish molding it, or not molding it, but finish incorporating the ink into the clay. You can see it's quite soft and stretchy. I just want to make sure you've got it all worked in there so it's not marbly. If you don't think this is dark enough, you can go ahead and add more re-inker and just repeat the process, but I kind of like this pale mauve color, so I'm just going to leave it like that. So once I've got that all worked in, I'm just going to put it into the mold. The first thing I'm going to do is take the embossing buddy and just pound it inside here. This just creates sort of like putting flour in a pan when you're baking. It stops it from sticking. And then I'm just going to press it into the mold. And I'm trying to stay within the boundaries of the flour. If you have too much clay, you can just kind of work it right off, just like you would if it was pie dough or something. And then you can put the next one in like so. Just want enough to fill it in. You don't really care what the back looks like because obviously you're not going to see that's going to be against your project. So that little bit of clay that I had actually made 3 flowers, probably a little bit more. What I like to do is I do like to kind of roll this in from the edge just so that it's within the parameters of the flower. If you didn't do this, after it dries, you can go ahead and take scissors and just cut it. So either way that works. And then I just kind of turn it over and flatten it. Now, depending on where you live will depend on how long this takes to dry. I live in the Pacific Northwest, so I could put this in the freezer, and in about 5 minutes I could pop these out. But because it's not as humid here, I don't actually have to put it in the freezer. So these just really pop out almost immediately. So you can see there's one right there. You just have to be careful when you take them out because they are completely still pliable. I hope you can see me just taking these out. So you want to make sure that they're at least set a little bit. And I probably, if I was just working and not on a camera, I would leave this. I'm going to leave that one to just set just a little bit longer. But you can see that they just pop out. Now, you have to let this dry for about 24 hours. And when you do, you end up with something that's a lot more brittle. If I pick this one up, you can see that it's completely bendable. And I could roll it up and start again if I wanted. This is one that's been set and it's quite brittle, actually. Not brittle, but it's hard. Okay. Here's a card that I made using the same little coloring scheme. This is the wisteria, and that's a little flower just offset on the card. This one here is just left white, and I just added one of the new little candy dots to the center just to finish it off, which was really kind of cute. Sorry, and on this one I just added a pearl. You can see that. And I just wanted to show you one other thing that I've been working with the clay on. This is using an embossing folder and just molding the clay to a design. So let me show you how I did that. Okay, so for this technique, I've just got the chevron embossing folder, and you can use any embossing folder that you want. And I've got my embossing buddy. I'm just going to kind of pound that a little bit. Bring in some clay that I've already pre-colored. This is soft suede refill that I used. And I'm just going to kind of flatten this a little bit. Just lay it on top here carefully, and then just close this and give it a light press, not too hard. And then just carefully bend this a little bit just so that removes. So then I've just got the little chevron pattern on there. And some other ones I did. This is using the wood grain embossing folder. So I thought that would be kind of cool for a masculine card. And this one here is the fancy fan. And the last one here is using the alphabet embossing folder. So once these dry, you can see that they're bendable, but they're actually quite hard, and they won't break. And just attach them to your project with a glue dot or the mono glue, the white glue. That works really well too. So let me just bring in the card. So I waited until this dried a bit, and then I took the stamp actually, and I stamped it on top of this very gently so that I can see the outline of where I wanted to cut it, and then I just cut it with scissors. So I thought it kind of looked like a little, the little Java sleeves that they put on at the coffee shop. So I hope you've enjoyed learning how to make these little flowers and other things using our pressed clay, and I hope you'll give it a try. It's a lot of fun actually, and fairly addicting once you get going at it. So thanks so much, and happy stamping. Hey, if you wanna play, make it a brighter place. It'll take creation, imagination. Try to draw outside the line. Let us see inside your mind. You'll find